evening, race fans. Welcome to tonight's Original Rebel Racing League. It's their late night series here at Texas Motor Speedway. They're going to be going around the 1.46 mile track. Definitely a tough track to get used to here at night. We're looking forward to seeing what these racers can provide for us. It's going to be their recruitment race tonight, sponsored by Arcadia Motorsports. Again, at Original Rebel Racing League. These guys do a bunch of different series here, but the late night league, I believe, is their newest. We're going to look forward to a lot of good action here tonight. Expecting a pretty good green flag from start to finish. Cars are currently finishing up single car qualifying as we speak. See if we can get live timing up. There we go. We currently got Rockefeller out on pole, provisional pole, followed by Sartwell Cornell, Mr. Paisley, number 7 machine, Kinder in 21. Cunningham's currently running 5th place. Hinkle is running 6th. We've got Brett Redditor running 7th, 97. We've got Johnson in 8th, Gates 9th, Misa in 10th, Manzo 11th, Scott 12th, Griffith in 13th, Ashby in 14th, Grunewalt in 15th, and then Thompson in 16th. Finally by Roberts, and then Watkins putting down a time on the board right here. Waiting for the action to go live, but it should be a good race from start to finish tonight. I'm James East, brought to you by Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Really good to be up here with such a good league, a bunch of really clean racers. It's a pretty good spattering of iRating and safety rating all across the board. A lot of guys are pretty quick, pretty safe. Going to be interesting to see what these drivers can put down in this Cup Series recruitment race tonight. Looking forward to seeing what a few of these drivers can do since we are new to this league. We don't quite know who the fan favorites are. I know Brett Redder is saying he's got a teammate to chase down. Misa was feeling pretty good going into the night. A lot of good talent here. So interested to see if we're going to have green flag pit stops come into play, or if it may be a few more cautions that everyone's wanting tonight and going to let things get decided that way with everybody kind of on the same strategy. So very interested to see how things are going to go. I'm excited. Very glad you guys are all here tonight. Looking for an interesting night. Texas Motor Speedway bankings from 20 to 24 degrees. Tire wear is definitely going to be a factor in these Cup cars as these drivers make their way around the racetrack. Expect to see a lot of draft passes on the back straight. Not going to see as much action in the tri-oval unless it's the end of a green flag run, trying to get a little bit of position at the end, or if they're trying to get that last drive going towards the finish line under checker or green-white checker tonight. But for the most part, you can see everybody kind of sorting things out single file, try and figure out their lineup here, and then take it easy and make moves where they can. But 90 laps at this racetrack. Let's look at the provisional grid so far. We've got Rockefeller out front, David Sartwell Cornell starting 2nd, Jeff Paisley 3rd, Garrett Kinder is going to be starting 4th, Daniel D. Cunningham starting 5th, we've got Jeff Hinkle starting 6th, Brett Redder starting 7th, Peyton Johnson in 8th, Charlie Gates starting 9th, Joaquin Misa starting 10th, Hitman Manzo is going to be 11th place, and William H. Scott Jr. is going to be in 12th. Rounding out the back of the board, we've got William Griffith 13th, Larry Ashby 14th, Brett Grunewalt in 15th, Joshua Thompson starting 16th, Kyle Roberts in 17th, Gene Watkinson in 18th. We've got Josh Oswald out there, Mike Magic, and Leonardo Alaya all putting down times. But let's get ready as these drivers are going to form up, get ready to go out here around Texas Motor Speedway. Looks like we've got about 21 drivers taking the field tonight. Just about everybody putting down qualifying times. We've got 2 or 3 drivers that were unable to. They might have joined a little bit late, rushing from their haulers to get into the action, but expecting lots of good racing here tonight. The start your engines call is out. These drivers are going to let them rip. You hear everybody warming them up. We're going to be watching Jason Rockefeller. He's going to be starting on pole. He's in the number 12 machine. Definitely one to watch. David Sartwell Cornell. He's in the number 18 Ford. So that might be Jeff Paisley having a little bit of internet problems there, but the cars are about to start gridding up here around Texas Motor Speedway. As a reminder tonight, at the end of this race, there will be post-race interviews for the top 3 and maybe a couple points of interest. Anybody has an exciting night, maybe you don't make the top 3, we'd still love to hear from you, but let's watch this opening lap here around Texas Motor Speedway as the drivers get ready to form up and start this race. 90 laps around Texas Motor Speedway. That should be, ideally, a one-stop race, but with cautions possibly coming into play later tonight, you might see different strategies starting to form. You can see the number 18, Startwell Cornell warm up those tires a little bit as he gets right along that side, that pace car. To his inside is Jocelyn Rockefeller. That's going to be Jason Rockefeller. That's going to be our big point of interest here as we go green to see what these guys are willing to do. If they're going to see, maybe you might see Rockefeller let Cornell down to the inside, or maybe he's going to hammer down as quick as he can and try to make something happen. A few different teams out here tonight, so that's going to be playing in as well. A lot of these drivers are going to try and find draft partners to work with, try and keep them up towards the front and get a little bit of a gap on the possible carnage behind them. As the iRacing pace car comes in, we are underway. Rockefeller gets a huge launch on that bottom line here at the original Rebel Racing League Late Night Series. Not content with second. You see Cornell taking a peek down the inside. He's looking for it already. Doesn't want to be stuck in second. Drivers, for the most part, willing to sort it out single file. Rockefeller drops down low, tries to break the draft of Cornell. Cornell going around the outside, doesn't have any draft support from anybody else. The 18's all by himself. Rockefeller still staying low, trying to get that side draft. Drivers are kind of sort of starting to form up behind him there. You see a little bit of 2x2 action going on. That's a 0-0. Daniel D. Cunningham trying to get the outside line working behind Cornell, but pretty far spaced out. You see Kinder, the number 21, that bright pink car. Makes it a little bit 3 wide there for a second. Provides a little bit of a block behind him, slowing down that outside lane. But right now it's Rockefeller and Cornell running neck by neck. We have Manzo going off track a little bit towards the back of the field. This onboard gives you a good idea of just how close Kinder is to Rockefeller right now. Kinder in that beautiful 21 machine, excuse me, a 13 machine. Time in scoring is rating him as 21 for some reason. Could be driver hasn't updated his number in the league quite yet with those custom paint schemes they're running on the iRacing service. Right now it's been Cornell. He's gained her. It's been a pretty dominant run so far. Rockefeller trying to draft back into him, but not quite having any luck. Cornell's got a 3/10 gap right now, and Kinder's starting to reel in Rockefeller. Looks like in the back of the field, we got Kyle Roberts going off track. He's having some problems himself. Roberts was running 17th, having a little bit of woes early on in tonight's race. Let's take a look at Brett Redditor. Brett, the series promoter, he's not having to start. He's quite on it. He's in 6th place right now, up 1 position so far. So Brett not quite having the run he really wanted so far. See lots of 2x3 action back there. Brett, the 97 machine, is keeping it pretty clean so far around. You can see him trying to get the draft of Peyton Johnson in front of him, see if he can suck up to this lead pack. But in 6th place in such a long race, he still has a good chance to bring it back towards the front. Let's go back to your race lead. That's going to be David Sartwell Cornell in the number 18 machine with Jason Rockefeller Intel in the 12. Rockefeller's got that gap down to less than 2/10 so far. It's starting to get him back in there. Kinder still within some striking distance, making something happen. Looks like these drivers are pretty content running single file for a little time now. Gonna get in the groove, burn down some fuel, and then maybe make some more aggressive passes towards the end. Right as we say that, you see Kinder takes a peek at Rockefeller. Rockefeller down to 1/10 difference between himself and Cornell, but Kinder is all over the rear bumper right now in that beautiful 4th and 13th paint scheme. Look at Rockefeller diving it down low of Cornell. Gets a little bit tight, gives a little bit of a love tap to Cornell. No harm, no foul, but that is going to slow down Rockefeller as you got Kinder diving down the inside of the 12 machine. We've got a yellow flag so far. That's going to be Mike Magic causes an incident. Looks like a solo incident. Let's see if we can get a replay on that. So that's going to be Mike Magic in the 77 machine. Gets a little bit loose, hits the outside wall, and just goes for a wild ride. Bounces all across the racetrack, does the right thing, and really stands on that brake pedal to avoid any carnage from happening. Let's see if we can get one more look at that. So Mike Magic in the 70 machine. Looks like he's trying to get a different run going on. Swerves high to avoid that other machine. And just isn't able to hold on to it. You see the car start pushing to the top, and that is going to be one good hit, followed by several more here around Texas Motor Speedway. So poor Mike, the 77 machine, his night looks to be all but over as he absolutely drills every single wall in this Texas Motor Speedway. The 77 machine going to be coming back to the hauler a little bit prematurely. So that is our first caution, 10 laps into this bad boy. They're about 1/9 of the way through. And you're going to see the drivers funneling in. They're going to come in for fuel and tires. They may be able to make the rest of this race on one stop. As you see, pretty much the entire field cycle now. It looks like it's going to be Gene Watkinson. He's going to stay out. And you've also got Jason Rockefeller. He's going to stay out. It looks like the number 12. No, that's a mistake on that one. Jason is in the pit, so I believe it is just Gene that currently stayed out on that go. We're going to take a look at the pit lane delta, see who hits their marks the best. Looks like Jason Rockefeller is going to be the first machine out, and he was in and out in less than 15.4 seconds. But you've got Peyton Johnson, Peyton Johnson, and I believe that's Garrett Kinder, both with a less than 15-second pit stop. Larry Ashby's probably got the fastest. He's in and out at 5.17 seconds. So Mr. Ashby may have only taken a right side tires at most. He may have just come in for fuel and try to run this thing out to the end. So interesting to see how that call is going to work out for him. But a new race leader, Gene Watkinson, in the 111 machine. He is up 17 positions so far. Going to be interesting to see if Gene comes in this go around on the second lap of caution, or if he's going to keep it out. No, he is going to stay out. He's going to try and lead a couple laps here. All in all, though, pretty good, clean racing here tonight. Everybody's behaving pretty well, I would say. No crazy aggressive moves thus far, so shaping out to be a pretty good run tonight. Granted, we only made it 10 laps in, but the guys are running really clean, especially up front, that top five. they were given and taken pretty respectfully. We saw a couple little bumps, but nothing wild here, so hopefully we get a little bit more of the same. But just like that, we see the 44 machine in the back of your camera absolutely gets murdered. I don't know if that's going to be an extended yellow here or what, but that's going to be Hitman Manzo and Garrett Kinder coming in for involved in a crash. Larry Ashby showing us crashed. Not quite sure what's going back there. Let's see if we can get a quick replay. So yes, the number 44 machine. Not sure what happens with him, if he maybe just loses power to his steering setup. Maybe the wheel came off. Or maybe he gets a little bit of help here. He does. The number 19 hits that rear corner panel and sends him in. So that's going to be the number 19, Leonardo Elijah, involved in that incident that sent Hitman Manzo around. Very, very odd crash there. That's not quite sure what the rhyme or reason is. Driver might have been looking down, maybe been talking to their crew chief, not paying attention to what's in front of them. Very, very odd here. But we're going to re-rack them. Right now, all eyes on Gene Watkinson, excuse me. He's going to be starting first. Haven't seen Gene up here so far tonight. Going to be interesting to see if that pit strategy works out. He's one of the few drivers that did not come in that pit cycle. Looks like Mr. Gene's slowing way down. He's got to catch back up to that pace car. Jason Rockefeller, he's up there rearing to go. He knows he has the pace to run up front. Cornell got bumped down a couple spots. I believe he's going to be starting third on this restart. Let's wait for that iRacing official pace car to come in. Looks like that is going to be an extended caution though after those yellow flag wrecks. So we're going to run them by once more. You can see a few of the guys out here saving fuel. You can listen real carefully and you'll hear them either pulling the clutch in and coasting, or some drivers that are comfortable will actually turn their cars off around this speedway, try and eke out just a little bit more fuel mileage. If they get a long green flag run, a couple tenths of a gallon here can be huge. It can be the difference between having to pit towards the beginning of the race or excuse me, being able to eke by at the line. So very curious to see what Mr. Watkinson does have in store for us. Watkinson's kind of lagging back from the pace car. Not sure if he's got a strategy to stack the field maybe going into this restart. But per the sporting code, you do have to maintain pace with the pace car. And if you accelerate any while the pace car is coming in, that is going to signal a green flag. And then you're going to see Rockefeller trying to take advantage of it. Watkinson is stacking the field right now. He's going to take it slow and maybe wait for the green or wait for that perfect opportunity. Green flag is out. The Watkinson, the 111 machine gets a hefty bump from number 18. That's going to be Sartwell Cornell. Is going to get shuffled to the back as Rockefeller gets a spectacular launch. He is ready to check out. And look at that, Brett Redder, the 97 machine, he's up to third. This is where it gets dangerous for those watching at home. You've got one car that decided to stay out. That's the 111 machine. He's going to cycle to the back as other drivers just have more pace on 4 fresh tires. And that's where the accidents can really happen, is a bunch of really fast guys are trying to get it by a gentleman not quite on the pace quite yet. And take a look. I believe that's William Griffith in the mix of things. Back here, he's battling for 6th place, trying to catch Joshua Thompson in 5th. Thompson's up 11 spots so far, and just an absolute hornet's nest behind these drivers. They're still too wide, trying to eke eke out a little bit of position here. We're only on lap 16 out of 90, so while it is not a super long race tonight, it is still very early on to be aggressively trying to make something happen. Let's take a look at Josh Oswald, the 17 machine. He is out high, and just that mess of drivers. They're going 2 wide, hitting it 3 wide, trying to get something sorted out. Nobody's really forming up a solid line here, though. Everybody's kind of swinging out and trying to make a pass and kind of slowing themselves down a little bit. You see the number 15, Peyton Johnson. He's going to look to the inside of Oswald. He's going to make it stick pretty clean. He's motoring that number 15 machine in there. That Chevy is on fire so far tonight. Oswald up 11 spots so far. So far the race for 8 has been nothing less than spectacular as you see Jeff Paisley make a move with the number 7 machine. And here comes the number 21 of Kinder after having a rough early start there with some of the trackside shenanigans. That 13 machine is a man on a mission right now. And at number 5, Brett Grunewald, he's by Joshua Oswald as well. So Oswald slowly working himself back here. Let's go back to Daniel Cunningham running in second. He's trying to chase down Rockefeller. Rockefeller currently holds a 4/10 gap over second. And these guys may be content running nose to tail, or at least following the draft for a few laps here, try and get away from the field some, and then worry about racing towards the end. But I don't think anybody's giving Rockefeller the memo as he's still putting down absolutely blazing lap times. He put down a 29.65 his last go-around. His best is a 29.63. So with not a lot of draft help, he is still charging extremely hard. Meanwhile, Cunningham only put down a 29.83, so Cunningham's losing a little bit less than a tenth per lap right now. Somewhere between 800 and 900. We're going to see if Cunningham can catch that draft and Rockefeller and kind of eat back up there towards the front and maybe challenge for the lead. On board of Cunningham gives you an idea of just how far back David Starkwell Cornell is. That's what 1.6 seconds look like on a track, especially the super speedway. Doesn't sound like a big number, but these guys are charging super hard. And behind Cornell, you've got Joshua Thompson, still up 12 spots, but he's got a bunch of drivers behind him, all battling for that position. And right now, it has been the Rockefeller show. Rockefeller still a half-second gap over Cunningham. His last lap of Rockefeller was a 29.99. He put down a 30 flat. These guys running very similar pace. Neither one's got a lot of draft help going around this speedway. And let's take a look at Peyton Johnson. He's getting all over William Griffith, I believe, is right in front of him. Griffith started off at about 13. He's back up to 5th right now. Johnson started off 8th. He's up to 6th. Both of these guys moving up the field. Peyton all over that rear bumper, though, trying to reel in Griffith. And behind Johnson, you've got Brett Redditor or Garrett Kinder. They're battling for 7th place right now. We've got Peyton Johnson making a move on Griffith. He's going to dive down low. Johnson's not going to make it stick clean. He decides to back out just a little bit. He's going to follow William Griffith one more lap around. See if he can get a little bit better drive and maybe make something stick here. Kinder battling for that 7th spot there. They're rapidly approaching Peyton Johnson and William Griffith, so it's about to be a four-way battle for fifth. These drivers can keep pushing as they are. Brett Retter's kind of bringing it a little bit closer to Johnson. He's about 0.3 seconds behind, and he's got Garrett Kinder aggressively pushing him around. Looks like Johnson's fallen off the pace just a little bit. Not sure if he's used up his tires too early on or what might be going on. But Brett Retter, a man on a mission, that 97 machine. He told us before the broadcast he didn't get a whole lot of practice in. He's too busy kind of running the show from behind closed doors, so he's putting a race league above his own fun. We do have another caution. Looks like Mike Magic once again involved in an incident. We'll see if we get a replay on that. Looks like Mike gets loose, goes to the outside wall, gets out of the way of 34 machine, and then plays pinball all the way down the straightaway. We're going to have to take one more look at that for fun's sake. So we're going to count them. That's one. That's two. The iRacing Shenanigans kicks in and bounces up against the wall. Let's, I think there was more than that, so we're just going to see if we can get a replay. See if I can get our camera crews to back that up just a little bit. All right, race fans, we're going to count it together here. Let's count the wall hits. That's one. We're going to count that as one. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt as he leaves a massive race stripe around the back straights. He checks up to avoid the 34. I believe that's Larry Ashby. Goes wide again. That's two. Goes back across the track for three. And then he's still on the gas. You got to give him credit, but he's going to come up once more. That's four on the outside wall. And then still on the gas, refuses to lift, never lift. That's ARCA Brakes at his best, and he's going to have one final blow. That's five to the inside wall. So the number 77 machine, I think the engine finally gave out at that point, just couldn't take it anymore, and he's going to have an early night back to the hauler. Driver's going to come in for their pit cycle. Looks like it's going to be Rockefeller out front. Rockefeller followed by David Sarwell Cornell. He's back up there. Daniel Cunningham's going to be third. Joshua Thompson fourth. William Griffith fifth. Peyton Johnson sixth. And Brett Retter, not the best pit stop there. He's down in seventh. Rockefeller's shown he can get good launches all night long, all day, every day. So it's going to be interesting to see what Rockefeller can do here on the restart. We're only 30 laps into this bad boy. We're on our second caution of the night. But fortunately, most incidents have been single car collisions. Not a lot of massive pile up here with a 20 car field. So we are getting reports from the pit lane. The number 77 machine did have a mechanical problem. His wheel did come off on that machine, and that's what caused him to go all over the place with the erratic driving. So the number 77 having a rough night. You really hate to see that. These guys work really hard day in and day out, trying to get the best setups they can, get the most seat time they can to make something happen. And then Mike Magic gets kind of stuck with the mechanical like that. So hate to see it for him. Hate to see the wheel come off like that. But I mean, that's iRacing. That's real life racing. The Indy 500, somebody's wheel came off, an actual rolling wheel, not just a driving wheel. We're about a third of the way into this bad boy. Pretty much everybody coming in for tires that go around. Looks looks like most drivers took 4 tires, full fuel. I see a couple guys came in, maybe fixed a little bit of damage while they were there. They had a little bit of minor damage. The team slapped some duct tape on there, maybe some Flex Seal, holding it down, but everybody's kind of on the same pit deltas. Everybody's got the same set of tires, same heaviness in the cars tonight. Everybody's got full tanks. And while we are under caution, big ups to Arcadia Motorsports. They're coming on as one of the sponsors for this series. If you'd like to come on as a sponsor as well, reach out to Brett Redder, and he's the guy to talk to. He can get your company in front of people, sim racers, friends and families of the racers, different guys that always tune in our broadcast every week. You want to talk to Brett and see how you can maximize the exposure for your brand. He is the guy to talk to. We're here every Tuesday night, late night, 11 p.m. for the the Original Rebels Racing League. A bunch of really good guys. They're strong supporters, veterans, policemen alike. Just a really good rounded group of racers here. It's been a pleasure talking to them, hanging out in the hollers, giving me pleasure to meet the team. So absolutely ecstatic to be calling their races in the future. I believe the season actually kicks off next Tuesday for the opener. This is a warm-up recruitment race, practice race, a bunch of different names for an excuse for pro men to get together on Tuesday night and have a lot of fun. But really good group of guys here. Can't stress that enough. Wait for that pace car to come in. They've got 58 to go. Pace car is in. All eyes on Rockefeller. Green flag is out. Rockefeller gets a huge launch. David Sarwell Cornell is going to have to be content to tuck in behind him. Cornell all over the rear of Rockefeller right now. He's got the draft. He knows he has the pace. He wants to see what he can get away with on these opening laps. See if he has the pace to stay with Rockefeller. See if he can feel him out. Maybe kind of judge where he can make a move later on the run. But Rockefeller's just been dominant so far tonight. A lot of action going on throughout the field as drivers shuffle around trying to figure out the falling order. As we approach this halfway mark, you can see a little bit drivers being a little bit less patient, a little bit more aggressive. Behind them, it looks like Peyton Johnson. He's going 2 and 3 wide back there. Number 15 machine all over the rear bumper. Daniel D. Cunningham running the 0-0. Behind Johnson, you've got Joshua Thompson, William Griffith, all wanting a piece on it. Right now, it looks like Thompson's got to run to the sides. Maybe now's not the time. And then behind Thompson, you've got William Griffith and Jeff Paisley, all about to go. So starting to finish really good, tight racing. The drivers are trying to crawl their way up, make a little bit of time when they can. Peyton Johnson gives you an idea of how fast these machines are actually making around the racetrack. Johnson's best lap time was a 29.665, and that was his last lap around, so he is absolutely charging right now, the number 15 machine. No stranger, he's getting a push from Joshua Thompson, which does help him out quite a bit. He gets that draft support, maybe a friendly bump from behind to help him out, kind of reel in Daniel D. Cunningham, who's currently 2 tenths in front of him. Just take it back up front to Cornell. He's got about a half-second difference between him and Rockefeller right now. I gotta say, right now, all the action has got to be with Peyton Johnson, Daniel D. Cunningham, and Joshua Thompson. They're all over themselves. These 3 cars are pushing hard. It would probably serve them best to drop in single file, maybe try and get Rockefeller and Cornell, but these guys are racers. They're going to battle for every position they possibly can. You see Joshua Thompson, he's going to get down low, see what he can get away with. Gets a pretty good run on Cunningham, but not sure if he's going to get this straightaway. He will not. Too big of a gap. Oh, we got another yellow flag. Looks like it's going to be Mesa going for a ride. Mesa in the 72 machine. Oh no! Just gets collected by the 7. That's Jeff Paisley has a problem. Let's get that one again in our Canyon Motorsports sponsored Super Slow-Mo. So right now you're looking at Joaquin Mesa. You see the number 7 get loose, tag a wall on the top side. Never lift, holds on to it. The field scatters behind him. He does his best to stay out of the race line, but Mesa, when he's tucked in like that, can't see a whole lot what's going on. He's got the 72 in front of him. 72, excuse me, that is 72 of Mesa, just absolutely drills Jeff Paisley. So I absolutely hate to see that from Mesa. Really nice guy, fun to talk to. Just a stroke of bad luck, and the field is once going to again come down pit road for more tires. With these short stints, you've pretty much got to come in, take tires, or you're going to get absolutely run over. We've got a little bit of shenanigans going on. What on earth was that? Not sure what we just saw there, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we had somebody come barreling across the infield, and we call that the aggressive pit strategy, where you actually stay out to the tri-oval and then lock it up and Tokyo drift it into your pit stop. Not sure if that's a regulation move or not, but they're going to come out of the pit 3 wide, try and figure out where they're sorted at. Looks like we've got Manzo's going to be out front in the 44 machine. He did not pit that, so he's on lap 29. To see if he decides to stay out or maybe he's going to come in. Maybe try and get a couple laps led, make his sponsors happy. But man, he's going to get absolutely run over on those almost 20 lap older tires. Looks like still, let's take a look here. Still 15 drivers on the lead lap. Hard chargers so far tonight's definitely going to be Mr. William Griffith. He's currently showing in 2nd place. So Griffith, I think he actually did box that last go around. He shows him as coming in on lap 40 with a pit time of 10.37 seconds compared to everyone around him with about a 15-second pit stop. So not sure if Griffith took right side tires only. Maybe he's running a little bit different strategy. He thinks the track position is worth the gamble for him. Really intrigued to see how this is going to play out here. So on your screen, we've got Mesa out front, but live timing shows him in 15th. Not sure if he's going to get a wave around from the pace car or how that's going to work. We hear him wake it up, so yeah, Mesa's going to get the wave around. He's going to stay on the lead lap here. Manzo staying out. That's going to be an interesting call. See how that works. Last time we saw that happen in the 111 machine, of Gene Watkinson. He got quickly shuffled to the back. Tires play such a big role here. You can lose up to 2 seconds if a run develops on older tires. Manzo looks like he's the lone man on the lead lap, running an older set. Looks like 11 laps old. Not the full-blown 20 we had. So he will still have pretty good pace as they take the restart, but I'm not predicting it's going to be pretty here. Pace car turns off the lights and ducks into pit row, and then it's going to be very, very exciting behind us here. Pace car is in. Manzo gets on the gas. He's ready to go, but he gets a little bit of wheel spin on those older tires. William Griffith on the outside, the number 12 machine, tries to get a good run, but look at David Sartwell Cornell. Has an absolutely massive launch, dives it down the inside, and he is here to race, and here's going to go. Rockefeller tucks in behind his friend, the number 18, Sartwell Cornell. These guys you've seen leading pretty much all night, but now we've kind of switched it up a little bit. Manzo hold on to what he's got with those older tires, but just doesn't have anything for the field behind him. Manzo gets loose, tags the wall. Oh no, another one. William Griffith gets involved. Manzo and those older tires, I believe he tagged the wall and then collects William Griffith. Let's back that up a little bit. So on the left side of your screen, you're going to see 44 of Manzo. Gets a little bit loose, tags the wall. Number 12 goes to avoid, just gets collected by the number 13. And going to take a ride through the infield, tear up some beautiful grass here at Texas Motor Speedway, but all things considered, the car's not looking super bad. He does have a little bit of aero damage, but he should be able to get out there pretty quickly. But that's the fourth caution right as we reach our halfway point. So guys are going to be dropping like flies. Lots of carnage so far tonight. And once again, you've got Sartwell Cornell and Jason Rockefeller. They're back at the front of the field. They've got the pace to run it. Once again, it looks like driver's going to come down and grab some tires. That's going to be Manzo's coming in. He did not pit earlier, so he realizes pretty quickly he needs that tire set as quickly as he can get it. So Cornell and Rockefeller elect to stay out on that pit cycle. They've only got about 4 or 5 hard laps on that set of rubber. So I think these lead two cars, Cornwell, Rockefeller, are going to be happy to try and get single file and just put some distance between them. We've seen Peyton Johnson in that number 15 machine. He's got the pace to run up front. He needs to get a little bit better launch, but look at Brett Redditor. He's up into 4th. That's his best so far tonight. Redditor, again, did not have a lot of planning going into this. He's too busy doing fun admin work. Cornell kind of hints at a pit stop, decides against it, maybe going for the good old-fashioned fake out. But I believe we're going to be 1 to go here as the pace car crosses the line. lot of good racing, a lot of single car incidents for the most part tonight, so everybody's doing their best to get around this track clean. These guys race with each other multiple times a week, if not in the late night series that's coming up next Tuesday. The other series that they put on here at the original Rebel Racing League. So the last thing you want to do is kind of make some, you don't want to say enemies, but somebody that's not friendly towards you throughout the week. So everybody's doing their best to keep it clean, and then these racing incidents happen. These are a very mixed skill set of drivers from A-class heroes all the way down to some D-class guys that are out here. So it's a very welcoming league to racers of all abilities. So that's what happens. You kind of get that mixed bag out here. They're going to get 2 by 2 as far back as the eye can see. Very long caution here. Maybe some extended cautions were thrown. Not sure if we missed anything on live timing that could have forced an incident, but longer than usual, I believe. Maybe I'm miscounting. Maybe I'm losing my mind here with the late night league, but could have sworn that should have went green maybe a lap or two ago. So maybe something's going on with race control behind the scenes. Trying to get some drivers sorted, perhaps. I believe pace car is going to be in this time by. You see Cornell and Rockefeller trying to get a little bit of heat in those tires before they know they're about to be pushing really, really hard. Those tires 9 laps old, so they are going to fade just a little bit. For the most part, everyone is on the same pit cycle here. So everyone's speed should be pretty close. Pace car is in. Rockefeller looks like he's stacking up the field a little bit. Comes down to a crawl. Green flag is out. Rockefeller hits the gas, but Cornell hits the gas, but Rockefeller's right there with him. Look at Peyton Johnson making a move down the inside. He wants to go for the win. He wants to be up there. All over Cornell right now. Good side-by-side racing. You see Cornell finally making that battle. He's got people to contend with. He hasn't had that going on much tonight. Peyton Johnson wants out front in that number 15 machine, but he's got 2 really fast cars right behind them that we know they have the pace. Going to be interesting to see if Johnson can hold on to it here tonight. Just like that, Cornell and Rockefeller dive to the inside. They're working nose to tail. They want back up front. They don't want Johnson to have the glory, but Johnson just getting a huge run on the tri-oval. Johnson with a 2/10 gap, running a little bit different line. He's running a little bit higher. Might be able to carry a little bit more speed that way as we see Cornell with a big moment. He gets major loose going around turns 1 and 2. Now Peyton Johnson's increased that gap to 0.3 seconds. He's got Rockefeller behind him, but now Rockefeller doesn't have that draft partner he's had all night. Cunningham, he's up 2 spots. He's in third in the 0-0, currently sitting in podium contention. But Rockefeller not one to be content sitting there and waiting. He's going to get all over Johnson as quick as he can, but Johnson's carrying a really fast line around 1 and 2. They go down the back straight. Rockefeller not quite able to catch that draft and suck him up in as much as he wants. Rockefeller running that small line. It's a little bit quicker line around the racetrack, but you do have to worry about eating up tires, especially if this bad boy goes green. Now, to be fair, we haven't been going green for more than 10 or 15 laps at a time here so far, so that might be a very good strategy so you can get the inside line on an upcoming restart. But
Rockefeller makes the move down low. He's going to slide up the racetrack. Maybe he'll be able to clear Johnson. Johnson edges him back out on the back straightaway. Rockefeller dives down low. Johnson using every little bit of slip angle he possibly can. The 15 machine looks like Rockefeller's going to have him clear. He is. He's going to drift high. He's going to block Johnson. It goes low. Johnson looks high again, but nothing for him. Oh no, Johnson using every bit of the racetrack, including some of the grass, to make something happen. But Rockefeller makes it pretty darn clean despite that blocking maneuver. So now Johnson's got to play catch up again. We've seen Rockefeller's got the pace running solo. Cunningham wants to reel in Johnson as quick as he can. But man, Rockefeller has absolutely had the dominant car here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. And just great racing all the way around. The field's starting to get a little bit more stretched out than we have seen. What Rockefeller wants right now is a good, strong green flag run. He doesn't want any more cautions. Doesn't want to get mixed up in any shenanigans going on behind him. He just wants to drive and get some space right here, and it looks like he's making it happen. Johnson about 2/10 behind Rockefeller right now. He's got the draft. Let's see if he can reel him back in. Look at those two different lines for him. Rockefeller's been running a little bit lower all night. We're starting to see him drift close to that middle line as his tires do start to fade off, but Johnson's been running that middle line, I believe, pretty much the entire night. Not sure if that's going to be a tire-saving strategy or what the play here is. Rockefeller keeping Johnson at that 2/10 gap. Yeah, it looks like Rockefeller's starting to increase that gap to 0.3 of a second ahead of Johnson. Behind them, Brett Redder in podium contention. He is a second off of second place, though. And he's got a bunch of drivers behind him. So Redder's getting chased by Sarwell Cornell. Somebody's been running up front all night. Behind him, Garrett Kinder, then Daniel D. Cunningham. All in just a pretty big Congo line here. Guys, looks like you're trying to play it a little bit safer this go around. You're not seeing as many aggressive moves. If I'm doing my math right, all these guys put in lap 40. They may be able to stretch it all the way out to lap 90 on fuel. Not sure if there's alternative fuel limits here tonight with the original Rebel Racing League late night series, or if they're running open fuel, no restrictions. So I'm gonna have to talk to race promoter Brett Redder after this one, but look at Cornell. He's looking to drive up the inside of Redditor. I know that car's got to be tightening up on him, so that inside line may fade off after a while. You see Cornell go the low-high move, try and get every ounce of racetrack he can, get a good drive. Behind Cornell, Kinder all over the two of them. Cornell really pushing Redditor here. Cornell's going to dive it down low. Not sure if he's going to be able to make it stick. Redditor's carrying so much more speed on that middle line right now. Not using up as much tires, but man, look at Cornell as he kind of drifts wide out of 4. Gets a good run every single time. Here we go. Cornell's going to dive down the inside. They're side by side with Redditor. By the time he shows him just inked ahead, is he going to get clear? Redditor's been carrying so much speed, but he's got to look out. Cornell drifts high out of 4 every single time. Looks like Cornell's going to get clear, and then Kinder's going to come around as well. Kinder gets a run. He's on the quarter panel. He's on the door of Redditor. Oh, good tight racing. Redditor's still running that middle line. Kinder's trying to make it happen down low. So Cornell back in podium contention. No points on the line tonight, but again, racers race. These guys are going to drive as hard and as clean as they can. Let's look at Kinder. He's kind of getting the battle for 4th right now as he tries to reel down Redditor. Redder's been having a good run. He's still up 3 spots from where he started. Kinder's down 1, trying to get that position back. And then Cunningham in the 0-0, he's down 1 spot, only running 6, but within striking distance to make a 2-for-1 pass for 5th. Cunningham trying to figure out what lane he wants to support here as the Redder and Kinder go too wide. He backs off just a little bit once these guys are sorted out. Worst thing he wants to do right now with 26 laps to go is be involved in any sort of incident. These guys are riding hard side by side all the way around the racetrack, trading back and forth. Kinder gets a run on Redder. Redder tries to get a little bit more speed around that middle line. Kinder being a gentleman, he gives Redder plenty of space as he drifts up the racetrack, trying not to check out or drift up and clear out any of his friends here. But Cunningham, he sees what's working, what's not working. He's going to get an inside line. Looks like Redder's going to give him a little bit of a block there, then allows him back low. The 0-0 of Cunningham also making a move on Redder right now. So as the runs develop, it looks like that inside line's forming up pretty good as we see Redder lose 2 positions, 1 to Kinder, 1 to Cunningham. And that's what you like to see, good clean racing all the way around. These guys are all battling for position. Even if you're not in podium contention, these guys are driving hard, racing clean. Oh no, looks like that's gonna be Kinder. Tags the wall, gets a little bit unsettled, and just like that, Cunningham and Redder are gonna get back around. Not sure if Kinder's gonna have a cut tire on that one or not. He's gonna stay out as long as that truck, or excuse me, that Cup car will allow him. Redder and Cunningham got a little bit of boost of confidence there. They've seen just like that, they can keep those spots. You have to stay close to your opponents ahead of you. And I saw more action going on up there. Looks like Hartwell's getting around Peyton Johnson, I believe. Johnson, number 15 machine. Might be getting very, very tight. Might have had a big moment, maybe tag the wall. But Cornell, he's got 1.35 seconds between himself and Rockefeller currently running first. That is a massive gap. I mean, with 22 laps to go, he may be able to make something happen, but Cornell was almost 0.2 faster that last lap compared to Rockefeller. So maybe tire strategy is coming into play. Maybe Cornell's kept a little bit in the back pocket so he can have some room to work with. The gap's down to 1.2 seconds and shrinking as we watch. Cornell is going to be the guy to watch that last lap around. He's still let's call it a little over 1/10 of a second faster than Rockefeller. Rockefeller's starting to hammer down a little bit faster himself. But Cornell chipping away at that gap. Going to do his absolute best to stay in the draft with Rockefeller wherever he gets it. He may allow Johnson to rope up to him just a little bit, get a little bit of draft support, run single file, and try and catch that leader. Now with iRacing, these drivers can communicate among each other and try and work out a little bit different strategy, do their best to get back up there. But still a pretty substantial gap. It's down to a 1 second gap. Last lap around, Rockefeller and Cornell put down almost identical lap times. Rockefeller did a 31:09. Cornell did a 31:06. But that gap is still shrinking, ladies and gentlemen. It's down to 0.89 seconds between first and second. We might see a race form up here after all. With 18 to go, these drivers are going to be pushing as hard as they can without shrinking, destroying tires. Rockefeller slows down to a 39.7 last lap. Cornell does a 30.78. So he's got the pace. Does he have the tires to reel him in as this run develops? Cunningham currently running third place in Double Zero Machine. He's got all sorts of companies. Brett Redder in the 97. He's all over the rear bumper of that Double Zero Machine. So that's the battle for third place right now. So first and second may form up in the next 10 laps or so. We may see a shootout with maybe 2 or 3 laps to go. But the race from third is still ongoing. Redditor put down a 31.05 last time by. Cunningham with a 31.24. So pretty big gap. May allow Redditor to kind of choke up to him, but looks like Redditor falls off the pace there. He has a moment. It's going to let Cunningham get another pretty good gap, as Redditor was almost 0.3 of a second slower than Cunningham that lap. Looks like Peyton Johnson. He's accompanied by Brett Redditor in front of him, Garrett Kinder behind him. This is going to be your battle shaping up for 4th, 5th, and 6th. As tire wear comes into play, you're going to see guys getting slower and slower here. Except good old David Sartwell Cornell in the AT Machine. He seems to be getting a little bit more pace as he goes along. These guys are all over just about 1 second slower than their personal best this race, as these tires are getting more and more worn and the track's laying down more rubber. Man, very impressed with the caliber of these drivers today. Peyton Johnson does have a lot of company from Garrett Kinder. As these runs develop, it gets much harder to make passes. You want to run down the inside, make something stick, but when the cars tighten up and you start drifting outwards, sometimes it's a handful to keep those cars from tagging the wall, much less an opponent that's also having the same problems middle of the track. Now the gap between Cornell and Rockefeller has increased back to 1 second. Looks like these guys are both dropping pace pretty quickly as lap times fall off. Rockefeller did a 31.09. Cornell did a 31.28. Cornell may be fighting these tires at this point. With only 12 laps to go, I don't think you're going to see any of these competitors come in unless they absolutely have to, if they're running on fumes in their fuel tanks. But the lap times are clicking off, and Cornell does not have a lot of time to make something happen. As the field stretches out, give you a good bird's eye view of just what 1 second gap looks like around here at Texas Motor Speedway. You briefly saw Rockefeller on the left side of your screen as Cornell is trying to chase him. Behind Cornell, it is over a 3.5 second gap to third place. That's going to be Daniel Cunningham running around there. Okay, here's your current three-way battle for fifth. That's going to be Peyton Johnson out front, Garrett Kinder in the second car of that pack, followed by Josh Oswald. Oswald still up 13 positions from where he originally started. Just like that, I believe Johnson has a moment, gets a little bit snap loose. That's going to allow, I believe that's going to be Oswald gets past Garrett Kinder. Gives a little bit of a saving grace there. Kinder still making that bottom run stick. He's going to take a look at the inside, but man, you see that car getting just a little bit snap loose on the exit of the corners. Tire wear is a huge factor with 9 to go. Kinder not able to clear himself all the way up to the high line and slow down Oswald's run. Oswald's got that good middle line forming up, but man, with how tight these cars must be feeling for the drivers, they're not able to push quite as aggressively as they want to. You can see Oswald trying to get that draft of Kinder, maybe make something happen going into one. still seeing Oswald run that middle high line compared to Johnson and Redder in front of him that have been staying pretty low here. A lot of interesting and unique lines around Texas Motor Speedway. Looks like Oswald is going to fall off the pace a little bit as Garrett Kinder gets up to a 0.75 second gap. 7 laps to go. Out front, it is Rockefeller all by himself. As he starts to approach lap traffic, I believe that's going to be Charlie Gates in front of him in the 55 machine. Gates going to hold it on the outside line. He's going to allow our race leader Rockefeller the preferred line. So a big thumbs up to Charlie Gates, who just goes a lap down and starts having internet problems at the same time. So that could not have worked any better from Rockefeller, making quick work of lap traffic. That also means that this lap traffic is going to be more aware of what's going on behind them now. They know the leaders are rapidly approaching, so Cornell, in theory, should have a little bit of an easier time cutting through. We cycle back to Garrett Kinder in 6th place. He's got Oswald's man to catch back up just a little bit. From a second to about 3/10, and behind them, cars still racing as hard as they can. Our top 10, they want every spot they can possibly get, trying to get used to racing hard and aggressive, but also clean as we start next Tuesday night with the actual series kicks off. Excuse me, no, it's going to be the 22nd, I believe, is when the series kicks off. My apologies to our fans at home. On my schedule, it does show the 22nd is when the original Rebel Racing League Late Night Series does start. So not too late to get signed up if you want to come play in traffic with some of the best. Now is your opportunity. I'm willing to bet they'll be doing a couple more recruitment races in the near future. Maybe even some public hosted lobbies. They can get their live race control here as well. I'll do my best to cover the non-official stuff depending on prior commitments, but always a good time calling and announcing these races, especially with such clean drivers. I believe we've made it almost 50 laps from our last caution. I don't think fuel is going to come into effect. Just tire wear to this point as we're 2 to go as Rockefeller crosses the line. Rockefeller ran a pretty much dominant race. As a reminder to these drivers, as we approach our closing laps, there is podium interviews tonight. We will see you in the waiting room. We will be ready for you. We are a white flag around Texas Motor Speedway. It has been the Rockefeller show. Cornell has had the pace, but he's over 1.3 seconds back. Tire wear is just kind of proving to be a little much at this point and not able to get that final charge he was really looking forward to. So big round of applause for our race winner. That's going to be Jason Rockefeller, the number 12 machine. A spectacular performance tonight from the number 12. That Ford's looking great. Behind him, we've got David Sartwell Cornell, and then bringing home third, Daniel D. Cunningham. Great race from all of our competitors. We're going to wait for them to cycle the field here, and then we're going to get them ready for post-race interviews. Just a spectacular run from Rockefeller.
Sartwell, Cornell, everybody, just a really good run tonight. Very glad to see it. That Spider-Man paint scheme looking fantastic. As we see the number 12 doing a well-deserved, he's burning it down. He's earned it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Amazing Spider-Man once again putting it on the top step of the box here at Texas Motor Speedway. Fantastic racing tonight. Very good to see it. Great to call it. That's what we like to see. We're going to keep an eye out for Daniel D. Cunningham. He's going to be our first guy in the box if we can get him up here in the broadcast booth. Or we'll settle for David Sartwell. So we're going to be joined by our second place finisher tonight, David Sartwell Cornell. Do you read me, man? Cornell, you got your ears on. One final mic check for David Sartwell Cornell. Do you read me in the car? We're going to give David one more shot to try and get his microphone figured out, but let's go to our unofficial results for tonight. That is going to be Jason Rockefeller up front, followed by David Sartwell Cornell in second, Daniel D. Cunningham in third. We've got Brett Redder in fourth, Peyton Johnson fifth, Garrett Kinder sixth, Josh Oswald seventh. We've got William Griffith in eighth, Jeff Hinkle ninth, Joshua Thompson, and we'll be rounding out our top 10. One final time. David, do you read me in the booth, man? We through Discord.
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me now?
There we go. Now we're rocking.
Hey.
David, a very good run with second place. You ran up front a lot of the night. We know you had the pace. What happened there at the end that put you a little bit over a second gap between yourself and Rockefeller?
You know, just tiny mistakes. I kept clipping the apron, and I think with Jason being out front, he was able to keep his tires a little bit cooler and save him a little bit more than I had to in order to catch him.
Yeah, overall good run. I mean, from the start, you guys did a good job. Got great starts. Launched as quickly as you can to get away from the kind of the shenanigans behind you. Looked like a bunch of single car crashes for the most part. Do you think there was more cautions than you were expecting or less?
Honestly, for this league, that's way more than I would have expected, but seeing as how it's a equipment race, trying to get people to come in, you know, a bunch of people that haven't raced around these guys, you know, it's acceptable.
Well, cool. We're glad to see the good, clean racing. David, before I let you go tonight, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, Original Rebels Racing League for doing this, you guys for broadcasting. And I got to make a shout out to my real life sponsors from last year, Fairfax Salvage and Fairfax, Vermont, RGR Raptoy Gadju Racing, and the Parts Store. And I think that's everybody.
Well, awesome, Dave. We look forward to seeing you on the 22nd when the season goes live. We hope to see you up here more often, man.
Hey, man, I hope to see me here too.
That was second place of David Sartwell Cornell, but we're joined now by Daniel D. Cunningham bringing home third. Daniel, do you read me?
Yeah, I got you here.
Daniel, that was a spectacular battle, 3-4, 5-way wide battle for third there towards the end. How did it go between you, Brett Redder, Peyton Johnson, Garrett Kinder? Everybody was kind of in the mix the whole time there.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun racing with those guys, and definitely a lot of fun for me trying to figure out how to run this place because I'd never actually run it in a Cup car before today. So just trying to figure out the best line to take, and especially in 1 and 2, trying to figure out how to get off of the corner exit and everything definitely made a big difference.
Yeah, Daniel, we saw a few cars get a little bit snap loose as the run progressed. Was tire wear something you were really fighting as that green flag run finally developed, or were you pretty okay all the way around?
My tires were actually pretty good at the end. Usually do a pretty good job of saving some tires more towards the end of the long runs. So I really didn't fight any of the loose on corner exit or anything as we got to the end of the run.
Well, excellent. And Daniel, I mean, good, hard-fought third. We know you're getting ready for the season premiere on the 22nd, but before we let you go, anybody you want to thank out there?
Yeah, I do need to thank my friend Alan. He was watching on the broadcast tonight. He's on vacation, and he was texting my wife to give me tips on how to run better in 1 and 2, and it definitely made a huge difference. So thanks, Alan. Appreciate it.
That's a good friend there. Daniel, thank you again for joining us in the booth. We'll see you the 22nd. Hope to see you up here more often.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, a spectacular night here at Texas Motor Speedway. Great racing with the original Rebel Racing League late night series. If you're looking to get involved, check them out on Facebook. They've got a group, they've got a Facebook page. They'll lead you to the Discord. A very welcoming group of guys here on the iRacing service. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Live, I'm James East. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this late night Tuesday afternoon. I guess I should say evening at this point. We'll see you the 22nd as we broadcast their season opener live here on the Team Goon Squad Network. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a good night.